Welcome to Scorpion's Guide to Fur the King for Beginners. But if you haven't already, please subscribe, it's free and it would really mean the world for me. Before I get into the actual gameplay and everything, I would just like to drop a spoiler here for what you unlock in the lore store. If you don't want this spoiled, I suggest you skip forward 30 seconds. Anywho, in the lore store, you are going to unlock locations, characters, items, mini encounters, and character customization just by playing the game and doing certain things in the game. I will cover everything in future videos. You use lore points to unlock things. But yeah, let's get right into it. As you're going to launch the game for the very first time, you're going to click New Game, and then I suggest the adventure that is labeled For the King on Apprentice difficulty, because this is the beginner-friendly difficulty. You are then going to create your game. Here I already have my characters set out as I normally play them, but when you start the game, you are going to be starting with Blacksmith, Hunter, and Scholar, and I'm pretty sure you even get the Minstrel. So basically, each class, you can click on class info to see the class statistics. For example, you can see that the Busker has a high strength and a high heart and a low intelligence, low awareness, semi-decent talent, and mediocre speed. The Hunter's strength is lower, his heart is decent, his intellect is not great, his awareness is superb, his talent is decent, and his speed is top. For the Minstrel, you can see low strength, low heart, high intellect, high awareness, high talent, and decent speed. But I personally would choose to play the Scholar over the Minstrel. So basically now we're going to go through the special abilities of these three classes that I would suggest for anyone that starts their gameplay for the very first time. The Blacksmith has a passive skill that's labeled Steady, which just means you're going to get an encounter inside of your battles where the Blacksmith will actually use this ability, skill, in order to block all incoming damage from the enemy. The Hunter, on the other hand, has a skill which is Elite Sneak, which basically means whenever you're trying to sneak around an enemy, you're going to need to hit less dice rolls in order to sneak around. Elite Trap Evasion has the same perk as Elite Sneak, but just evading traps instead of sneaking. And his passive skills are Energy Boost and Call Shot. Energy Boost is when you finish your movement, you might get an energy boost which gives you an extra movement on the board. It will all become clear later on. And his Call Shot skill is basically a skill whenever he attacks someone, he has the ability to call a shot, which always resolves in a crit. And the Scholar has the passive skill of Refocus, which just means whenever you are missing certain points of focus, you are going to get one focus point back. And every single class has their unique starting items or starting equipment. The Blacksmith gets his Blacksmith Hammer, Simple Iron Shield, and 11 gold. The Hunter gets his Hunting Bow, Hermit Grass, 8 gold. And the Scholar gets the Scholar's Book, Teleport Scroll, and 10 gold. That's basically it for the stats, special abilities, and starting equipment. I'm going to load up a game. Every game you load up is going to be random. Load up the game, you instantly should open up the town screen. There, you should instantly check your quests to see what you got. You can have bounties, exploration, delivery, or retrieval. Retrieval forces you to go from the town to a certain point on the map, for example up to this structure over here, and then back, and once that's done, your quest is complete. Then you have delivery, where you get an item in the town and you have to deliver it to another random location on the map, for example to here. As soon as you go from point A to point B, your quest is done. Exploration, you just have to explore the map and find the place you were looking for. For example, if you're looking for this object right here, you just have to go to the object and then you'd get your reward. And bounties work simply by just accepting the bounty. You see where the enemy is, you have to go there and beat the enemy. That's it for the quests. Now I'm going to start talking about quest rewards. Other quests also involve getting you gold, party experience, or random items. Gold just gives you gold that you can see here. For example, this character has 11 gold. Party experience just gives you experience, which you can see right here. And items just give you a random item that is included in the game. It can be anything up to from a short sword to the great lightning staff of Vexor. And now I'm going to be covering the market. Inside the market you can see various items that you can buy and even equip for your characters. Whenever you buy an item, be sure to check out its stats and what it gives to decide which character is best to get it. For example, if I wanted to buy this torch, which does 11 damage, it instantly compares it to my active character, which is the blacksmith. My blacksmith currently has a hammer that does 10 physical damage, and the torch does 11 physical damage. Now, if I wanted to buy and equip this, I should equip it on the blacksmith because he has the highest strength value. Whereas, I should never give it to the minstrel because the minstrel always has a 47 strength. In the market you can also find various herbs that can give you certain bonuses. For example, Hermit's Grass gives you evasion during combat. Panics removes 1 poison bleeding and all other elemental effects. Golden Root restores your focus, which I'll get into after I complete the town overhaul. Godsbeards heal you, Hag's Banes relieve you of all curses, and Elm Palms just empower your herbs. Lastly, in the town, you have services. Once you click on services, you can see Inn, Meditation, Healer, or Blessing. As it says, Blessing will just remove all curses. A Healer fully replenishes your HP and removes any single status effect you had on yourself. Meditation will regain all your focus, which I will explain still later on as soon as I'm done with the town overhaul. And in the inn, you're going to get back some of your HP and 2 focus points. But your turn instantly ends. For example, if I click in right now, you can see that my turn instantly ended. I didn't do anything. And now, as you can see here, rolling movement. This will determine how far your character, the playable character you are playing, is going to be able to move. So yeah, as you can see, it counts down how far I can move. In order to see who goes into a battle with me, if I hover over an enemy, I see these crossed swords on the floor. If your characters are standing on these crossed swords, they will be pulled into combat. Whereas, if there are any other enemies on these crossed swords, they are going to get pulled into combat. For example, if this bee was standing right next to him and I attacked him, the bee would have been dragged in if it was standing right here. You can also see how many characters you're bringing in and how many characters they're bringing in. The Elite Snake ability allows me to have only 1 slot that I have to roll in order to get my in order to get the ability to sneak past them. But if I use focus, as I can show you on right click, it's going to be a 100% chance. 1 focus always gives you 1 stat, but it also drains the focus from this slot here. If I want to ambush the enemy, you will always get the initiating turn, no matter your speed. You can have 1 speed, and if you successfully ambush, you are always going to attack first. For example, I'm going to ambush this enemy right here with all 3 of my focus points. And here we have another time bar up top. Here it shows the order that the people are going to attack in. And because I ambushed, I'm attacking twice in this row. So now I'm going to cover the stats down here. And now I will be covering the stats shown in these boxes. Here we can see the armor of your champion or your hero. Armor depicts the value of physical damage that the enemy does to you. For example, if the enemy does 5 damage and you have free armor, their 5 damage is going to get reduced by the free armor, leaving only 2 damage to go to you. One below this is the resistance. It's the exact same as with armor, the only difference is that it blocks magic damage. For example, 5 magic damage comes to you, you take 4 damage. One below is evasion. This is the percent chance that you will completely evade an attack. And evasion means that the enemy misses. To the right, you can see how much damage your character does, so you can see how much damage you will do to the enemy. For example, my blacksmith will do 10 damage to the enemy, because the enemy only has 1 resistance and 0 armor. But that is only if I hit all 3 of my rolls. To the right we have the stat bar, which shows all of your stats. One higher is the XP bar, which shows how much XP you need to level up. This is the player level, this is your health bar, and this is your belt items. You have 1 God's Beard, 1 golden root, and 1 tinder pouch. And now, if you want to run away from the fight, if you decide you can't handle it, you use this in order to leave the combat, but you have to hit both rolls. If you want to attack, you can use the default attack. It also says standard attack, shot. It shows you how much damage it does and how much of a % chance there is that a slot will be fulfilled. And then you have another attack in this weapon that ignores enemy armor, but there's a less chance of the shot hitting. For example, this one says 73%, but the standard shot says 83%. And now if I attack him like this, you can see that I rolled all 3 slots, which resulted in 6 damage dealt to him. Now I'm going to use this empowered attack, and you can see that I already missed. But the enemy still died. After each enemy is killed, you will get loot from them. And I personally always dedicate 1 character to be my gold character. That's the character that hauls all the money and does all the shopping for me. And that usually ends up being the one the most to the right, unless I bring in a minstrel, busker, or anyone talent related. We also got the golden root, which I'm going to use in this character because he lost the most focus. And now that I'm out of the fight, I can continue my way down to Woodsmoke, to the main quest, which is shown to the top right. And if I sneak past him, I will be allowed to go into the town. And then I complete my first main quest. In For the King, the first main quest is just traveling from one town to the other to get more quests. And now you can see the 2 things popped up. One of them is the cult device, and the other one is a Chaos Leader camp. If I look to the right, I can see that I have to solve the cult device in the Guardian Forest, which is this. If I hover over it, I see this speed stat, which means this is going to be testing my speed stat. I will show you how this works on my next turn, where I can use the teleport scroll to get down to there. And this is just another Chaos Leader camp, which I have to beat in order to progress with the main quest. I can also see my side quests to the left hand side, and I can see how much rounds I have left to beat this quest. And if you click on the quests, it shows you where you have to go, if you have already discovered the location of the quest. And now that I'm here, I'm going to show you how cult devices work. You walk onto the cult device, and you can see how many slots you have to roll in order to pass. You have the % chances written on the right hand side. And you can see the outcomes. If you get 0, you get +1 chaos. If you get 1, your party takes 5 damage. If you get 2, you take 5 damage. But if you get 3 or 4, you succeed. So I normally, if I'm not with a character that has a high stat, I normally just use all my focus points to make sure I do it. Upon attempting, you're going to get prompted to reduce 1 chaos, gain 1 life, or reduce 1 scourge. A scourge has not appeared here yet, but I will get into them as soon as I find one. But here, for the start, I normally just take reduce chaos just to give me as much time to prepare for any dungeons. And as you can see, the chaos is no longer on the timeline. Now I'm going to be explaining how caves work. But I will not be diving into a cave. Whenever a character of your party goes into a cave, for example into this dark cave, if everyone is on the same in the same area as you, for example this forest, you can drag them in with you. But if, for example, one of my characters sits over here in another area, which I call the swamp, we cannot drag the whole party in there. We cannot even enter without the whole party. So every single member of your party has to stay in the same area. And once you are in a cave, it is important to note that you cannot run away. So you always have to be prepared to go into the cave. For example, it says this cave is level 1. If I enter this cave right now with my characters as they are, I am most likely going to die. and lose the game. I've sat here for the past few minutes just ending my turn, hoping to get a Scourge to pop up on the timeline above, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to tell you this. The Chaos icons and the Scourge icons are different. The Scourge icons don't really depict the face of a character that you have to beat. And you have to find them randomly on the map. It is always randomly generated somewhere on the map. You have to find them and beat the mini-boss, I guess, in order to close the Scourge. But if the Scourge reaches the end of the timeline, it goes into a passive effect, where, for example, if you don't beat one Scourge, I know prices in markets go up, which can be a very bad thing for you. Well, thank you all for watching. Expect more For the King guides, and comment below if you found this guide useful. See ya next time.